What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the initiative of recruiting, basically, Crystal Dynamics, or Crystal Dynamics co-developing Perfect Dark with them, and I want to just talk about it. You know, there's obviously different avenues you can go on the internet. I posed the question earlier today on Twitter. Definitely want to hear your thoughts here and on Twitter if you guys want to follow me there. It's interesting. You know, I'm not making this video. I want to make it very clear. I'm not making this video to just to bash things. You know, I'm sure I'd get, you're an Xbox hater and stuff like that, which is very funny because obviously I've been called the opposites of pretty much everything somebody can call me. But no, I don't think it's like the greatest thing. I think that obviously there's potential there. I mean, Crystal Dynamics, when they made the Tomb Raider games, were pretty darn good. I don't think there was anything. And Marvel's Avengers, I always have to be careful what I say about that game because I always tend to make people upset. It's a game that is what it is. I don't enjoy it. I played it for a month straight. I liked parts of it. I know there are some people that play I truly know people that play the game every single day. So it could just not be a game for me. I personally think there are several actual flaws that you can kind of pick out with the game. So we're not talking about the greatest studio of all time, but that's not even, I would say, the problem here, the potential problem here. The potential problem, I would say, is isolated from this continues the narrative that Xbox studios are probably, or could be, probably is probably the wrong word, could be mismanaged, that these studios tend to have troubles delivering their goals. We've seen that with plenty of examples. Everwild was one more recently where that game is in just so much trouble. You have all of these people leaving. The game has been rebooted multiple times, and what we saw was pretty much all that they had at the, which, by the way, I love the look of Everwild. I absolutely adore it. It was a lot of the same reaction I had when I first saw Kena, Bridge of Spirits. So this is a game I'm fully into, but really, we're not going to see it again for years. It's not going to release for many, many, many more years. You have Halo, a lot of the talk around Halo, right? So many people leaving. That's a big thing, actually, with a lot of these. Now, that happens with Sony. I'm not, again, because people are going to call me certain fanboys or haters. I mean, it happens everywhere, but it's just been, it seems to have been an issue with these Xbox studios, You constantly see people leaving projects, high names, people kind of jumping back and forth, and just kind of what we've seen, studios not being able to deliver these massive packages. That, I will say, that has been one of the key kind of talks about Xbox studios for a long time. I know Colin Moriarty has said it, and I've kind of agreed with it. What they've done is assembled an ultimate team, a lot of really amazing studios, past, present, all that stuff. And they also just have a high magnitude of, it's quantity as well as quality. Maybe it's actually more, and I'm not saying that as a negative thing, maybe it's more quantity than quality. So they have all of these teams. They have the potential to just crank out incredible game after game after game. And it seems like they're going to, probably starting next year, right? 4 or 5 exclusives are kind of planned to release in 2022, same thing in 2023. But the issue is, they seem to all have problems. Now, that's a thing that's kind of been floating around there. And I guess the idea with Xbox is if they can get these studios to just fire hit after hit after hit, I mean, they're golden. What more do you possibly, because they have more than anybody else. And then if they're able to produce every single one as just a really good game, it doesn't even have to be game of the year, but just a really good game, I mean, it's fantastic. And again, I have Xboxes. I'm going to get a high-end PC. I'm going to be playing all of these games. I can't wait for them. So I want Xbox to do well. This is an issue about games. This is not really an issue about a specific studio, right? I just want games to come out, and I want games to be good. So obviously you have this. This is their, what was kind of heralded as their gigantic. We even see studios kind of trying to match. I think Ubisoft is trying to do a quadruple A studio. I think the talk around town is that Sony's trying to do it, or Sony has something kind of lined up against it. So, this is their quadruple A, which is a stupid idea. I personally, that's outside of Microsoft. I think that these games are getting too big, too expensive. But this is that huge blockbuster team. It's going to cost so much money to make this game. It is going to be a gigantic studio, a gigantic amount of money, all that stuff, and they need help. Now, I mean, on the surface level, needing help for something like this probably doesn't sound like all that big of a, you know what I mean? It doesn't sound like that big of a problem because, well, very simply, when you have a game that's supposed to be as gigantic, not necessarily, I'm not saying like it's like a 500-hour game. I'm just saying like, quality is going to be just so high and so good. They need help. That kind of makes sense. And also, I don't want to come across tone deaf. I understand this happens for many, many studios. They get help. They get help. I believe, I don't remember what team they're helping now, but there's a studio, a small team that was helping God of War, and now they're helping some other game, I think a Sony game. So like this literally just happened with Sony as well. But the thing is, normally, this is just kind of what I've seen, they're smaller teams. Okay, they're smaller. They're like help teams. They're they're like they're outsourcing teams. That's what they're called too, right? And they're kind of designed to be helpers. You know what I mean? They're designed to just help, get the game along. And some teams, or some studios may work with one of them. Some games and studios may work with a couple of them. That's generally how they work. Okay, normally, and now this is the part where we separate, right? It's not uncommon to get help. It's not uncommon to work with outsourcing teams and all that stuff. It is uncommon to recruit a huge studio in again, makers of Tomb Raider games and formerly Marvel's Avengers. This is not a 15, 20-person team. This is not an outsourcing studio. This is a studio that runs and makes their own games, and now they are co-developing this Perfect Dark with the Initiative. So now it's not even I guess like when you say like Naughty Dog made The Last of Us, you are right. However, you could even argue more than half the people that made The Last of Us were not from Naughty Dog. You know what I mean? Because there's just so many outsourcing people that end up working on it. It's actually more people from out than actually from Naughty Dog. But like the main, the majority of people come from that. When you have a thing like this, it's not, I guess, exactly half and half, but it's pretty darn close. So now this isn't even fully the Initiative's game anymore. I would argue. I haven't really seen that argument. Maybe it's the wrong argument to make, but I really, that's how it comes across to me. Is like, well, this isn't even fully theirs anymore. I mean, maybe they're still running the show, but they have almost 50, again, almost. They almost have 50-50 help. So, again, I think key points to take away before you hit the dislike and before you call me an Xbox hater. Number one, I want this game to be good, and I want to play this game. Number two, I don't think getting help to make games is uncommon or wrong. However, when you recruit a studio as big as Crystal Dynamics, also kind of shaky record as of late, when you recruit them and they're basically having it with you, that's, I would say, not again like immediately. It's not immediately an issue. And you say, well, this tends to be a problem that Xbox studios have they tend to have over the last several years. So I think there's something there. Again, this game is not dead on arrival. It's not dead in the water right now. There's still so much more to go. This game probably easily has like 2.5, 3 years left before it releases, and that's at kind of the minimum. So this game has such a long time still to come. There's so much that can happen. And again, I really hope the game is good. It's just I don't know. And also, this isn't like a studio that commonly helps Xbox. That's another thing I think people are kind of saying on the internet. Outsourcing teams, again, they're either known to be outsourcing teams or they have history of maybe being a team that does kind of co-help, a team in a specific publisher. Crystal Dynamics does not have a history of co-developing anything, okay? At least not recently. Now, they don't have a history of doing that, and they also don't have a history of helping. So it's like you're literally just reaching. Now, maybe that's a good thing. You could actually look at that as a good thing because it's like, well, Microsoft maybe handpicked them. They looked around. They said, okay, we need help. We're not going to use I'm sure they are using outsourcing teams, but they're saying, okay, well, we want a big studio to literally co-develop this game with us. We're going to look around and we're going to hand pick one that we feel is best. And I'm sure they did do that. So at the very least, they believe that Crystal Dynamics is a really good fit for them, and they think that they are going to work really well, next to each other, hand in hand. We'll see if that is good judgment or bad judgment, right? So that's something we'll have to see over time. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you guys want to follow me over on Twitter or subscribe to our second channel or support us through Patreon or YouTube memberships, links for all of that are in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.